The Supreme Five Swords, Rin Onigawara, Mary Kikukujo, Satori Tamaba, Warabi Hanasaka, and Tsukuyo Inaba are discussing a new troublesome transfer student coming in today, Fudo Nomura. He was expelled from his previous school for starting a brawl. Despite knowing some sort of martial arts, he was gravely injured and just released from hospital. Kurukuru Amu waltzes in to warn them about looking down on him. It sounds like she has fought him before. She warns them about his spirit bullets. Rin says she will personally correct him before homeroom is over. Nomura is surprised to see all the girls in school armed and all boys dressed as girls. This fat trainee, Kyusuo Masukodera, warns him that the only freedom they have is to follow the law or you have none. When Nomura enters class, Rin and her classmates immediately pin him down. Since he is unaware of what is going on, Kyudo explained to us how the Five Swords control the school. A bit of history too. When HI Coexistence Private Academy, which used to be an all-girls school, opened up, the girls felt unsafe and were allowed to carry weapons. Thus the custom of arming vigilante groups became accustomed to allow 5 girls to carry swords. Over the years, the school has become one in which delinquents from across the nation are sent for reformation in the name of coexistence. Nomura now understands what Masuko was trying to say to him, but he is not going to take this lying down. He is given a choice to leave or coexist, but he chose neither. He becomes fast enough to escape from his hold and escape, but Rin is hot on his tail. Rin catches and tries to cut him down with her sword, but Nomura is pretty agile and adept, using his feet to defend against her strikes. Then there is this Jikishinkage school that Rin came from because she is using her breathing technique to strengthen her muscles, etc. whatever. Nomura gets a slash on his side face when he's made a rash judgment. He brings out his iron gloves to fight her. When he is backed to a corner, she relentlessly attacks. He is waiting for her to step back and breathe, but she knows he is waiting for this moment. But in that brief moment when she does, he manages to place his palm on her ribs. An air gust blasts her away, shocking everyone who is watching. Nomura is pretty confident in explaining this unnamed technique, but is shocked when Rin knows it is spirit bullets. Nano Mazunono tries to hit Nomura away from her but accidentally pushes his head down. This means their lips meet. Rin becomes a flustering wreck, trying to hold in her embarrassment. She promises she will castrate him. Did he upgrade from correct to castrate? Mary thinks it is her turn to teach Nomura a lesson, but her disciple, Choka Baragasaki, who is part of the Junior Five Swords, will act on her behalf. Nomura asks Masuko on how to leave the school grounds. There is a permission slip that he can only get from Rin. Plus, he must get all stamps from the Five Swords. There is also a school store that gets what you need. Of course, there is a smuggler who can get you anything you want for a price. Nomura wants a cake. In class, the girls are afraid of Nomura, thinking the cake is to trick them into kissing him. He wants to give this to Rin, but she is absent and resting in her dorm. Speaking of her, she is mad and confused at what happened. Her temperature is fluctuating. Nomura comes in to give the cake. Now he notices her face since half her demon mask is broken. He thinks she is quite pretty behind it. Why not take it off? She doesn't want others to look at her without her mask off. Well, you do whatever you want. He requests for the slip, but she says that is only for students who are behaving well. When he mentions he wants to see her in casual clothes outside school, she immediately gives the card, hoping this will make up for his visit. He jokes that he could make up the difference with a kiss. Her temperature rises as she faints. As he tries to catch her, Nano walks in and misinterprets this rape scene. Immediately the dorm is on lockdown. Nomura tries to escape this booby-trapped dorm. Is this really a dorm? He manages to get outside but is faced with Choka. She took too long in her fancy introduction that Nano catches up. There seems to be some sort of rivalry between Choka and Nano, as the latter plays down the former's fakeness of pretending to be an Italian when she is just Japanese. Nomura dodges Choka's whip and Nano's short stick. It might seem he is outnumbered, but they claim this is level 2 punishment, and the only person who made through this is another delinquent from another school, Amu. She is a rare case of a female delinquent. The duo are not in sync and can't cooperate well together, and Nomura is able to easily use his spirit bullet on Nano, who then collapses on Choka. In this dire situation, before Nomura can teach them a lesson, they start crying. Yeah, everyone thinks of Nomura as a bully. In the evening, Rin gives her stamp on the slip to Nomura, but after she learns what happened in the day from her classmates, Sasa Kurosaki and Ui Mijii, her temperature rises again. Choka gets her punishment from Mary, but she is going to get her revenge on Nomura for laying his hands on her disciple. When Nomura enters class the next morning, all the girls are staying away from him, fearing they would get pregnant by being close. Even you too, Masuko. With Rin breathing down his neck again, looks like she is going to personally supervise him for the sake of this school's safety. Masuko warns Nomura to be careful now that he is Rin and Mary's target. Nomura remembers a person who withstood their punishment. Amu, or as she is known here as Empress, sure did. The way Masuko describes how she defeated them with her lethal hand chops makes Nomura wonder if that is the person whom he fought before. Rin comes early to get Nomura. She checks his bag, and despite him trying to be sarcastic if she is going to follow him everywhere including the toilet, she plays it cool that if he wants to, she will. Mary arrives and she is not happy Nomura is under her supervision. Mary has got the wrong idea of Nomura's rampage at the dorm, though Rin clears this misunderstanding up and assures he didn't do all that on purpose. Rin tells Nomura to head along while she settles with Mary with a girl's talk. So apparently, as you guessed it, their way of talking is via sword fight. Rin lost since she is still recovering. Choka tries to intercept Nomura with her whip. This time he takes out his belt to render her whip useless, but without touching her, she faints. Oops, his pants dropped. Before him now is Amu. She looks a bit different than before. He tries to confirm if he has become a girl because the Amu he knew is a boy and tried to recruit him into his gang. Amu says she is different than that person he speak of and has always been a girl. Not convinced, Nomura is going to punch her and see for himself when he is interrupted by Mary's scream. Oops, his zipper is down. By the time Nomura looks back, Amu is gone. Amu's flashback indicates she is indeed that person. She beat him up real good when he refused to join her. She remembers attacking him with the perfect strike that would have made him her subordinate. She wonders if she hesitated, but she will never acknowledge that guy and will kill him the next time he sees him. Nomura is now fighting Mary through the hallways. However, he has a hard time dodging her rapier as it is flexible. Each time he dodges, it can turn around and poke him. Since she aims for his nerves, it could be a painful pricking each time. The only way is to charge straight, in which is expected she stabs straight into him. However, she feels her move did not connect, thanks to the thick manga inside his shirt. Not a fearsome weapon, you say. He hits her head with it. Enough time to put his palm on her rib and do spirit bullets. Mary admits she has lost and allows him to do whatever he wants to her. Anything, so she's expecting to be raped. But when he won't do it, she thinks he views her less charming than the rest. You can never understand how women think, because seeing Rin, Choka and Nano got violated, if she doesn't get violated this means humiliation. Hey, she was hit on the head with a book. She tries to give her breast for him to fondle. Not interested. Well, he doesn't like being coerced into it. He wants her stamp however, but she places it in her cleavage. Now he will definitely have to touch them. However, he controls himself. This makes Mary rethink about her impressions of boys. They are not as bad as animals as she thinks. Rin arrives and misinterprets the situation. He is dead meat. Mary clears the misunderstanding. Her condition to give her stamp is that now she has to supervise him. Rin is not happy about this and they argue over Nomura being theirs. Warabi just returned from Hawaii. She sees the tomfoolery between Nomura, Rin and Mary and is not pleased the mockery this has become. Therefore, in addition to making Nomura her correction target, those girls will also be part of her correction. Nomura is shocked to see Masuko crucified on the flag post. Warabi is responsible for this as she claims he has been smuggling contraband into the school grounds. She then has them participate in her Death Olympics, in which they need to make their way through various challenges. If they win, Nomura gets her stamp. Good enough for him. She sends her musketeers, Tsunami Toko, Kinu Tanukahara and Nico Saruwatari to assist them, because the first challenge will be a sumo wrestling and they need to put on a mawashi. Choka and Nano come attacking the musketeers for embarrassing their sisters, but they are quickly defeated. Rin and Mary tell them to step down as they have no choice but to participate. Nomura has no problems putting on the mawashi himself. So can the girls do it themselves? Looks like they need some help. So with each tightening and turning, they must be feeling embarrassed. Or do they like that sensation? And Mary is upset because Nomura spent more time on Rin while hers was like so fast. There is a camera crew to film and broadcast it throughout the entire school. Nomura decides to go first. So who will be his challenger? Warabi's bear pet, Kyobo. Man versus beast. As the match starts, Nomura lunges straight for Kyobo. He does his spirit bullet, but the bear is too heavy to take the fall. Not even his hidden bullet from the back with his left hand did any good. He surprises everyone when he lifts Kyobo. Apparently he has been training sumo since young by lifting older and heavier men. Nomura must have really lots of strength if he is ranting about Warabi watching from her high horse while she drags the innocent, hurts and embarrassed others. It might look like he ran out of strength when he puts Kyobo down. Actually, he couldn't be more thankful to whoever wrapped his mawashi because it now comes off. According to official sumo rules, that amounts to disqualification. Nomura and his girls are encouraged with their first win. Warabi is in shock over this shock loss. She wants he team assembled. The games are cancelled. It's time for war. Warabi will give the stamp as promised, but he must go through the school building to face her at the rooftop. It won't be easy since they have to get past her musketeers as well as their assistant clones. To save time, Nano and Choka help to fight the assistants. Surprisingly, Satori clears a path straight up to Warabi. Despite she hates Nomura, she doesn't want Warabi to get her way any longer. The final boss fights involve Nomura taking on Kyobo, who is well versed in boxing too, Mary holding down the musketeers from reaching the top, and Rin facing off with Warabi in their swordplay. Nomura thought the internet has taught him how to deal with bears. Unfortunately, he got a paw punch right in his face. Rin gets injured when Warabi uses underhanded ninja tactics in her fight. Realizing that nobody is making any headway, Nomura thanks his girls for the help. This is a way to tell them to not be afraid and just focus on the enemy before them. With renewed confidence, they easily defeat the foes. Nomura has used a lot of spirit bullets on Kyobo, so the inner damage has slowly been building up. So when Kyobo starts crouching in pain, Nomura finally has a clear shot of her head, and one straight punch is good enough to knock her out. The sorority sisters happily reunite. When Nomura wants to quickly put on the Mawashi on Warabi as punishment, Rin and Mary are not happy, so they want to monopolize that technique of his. They start chasing him around. Oh, Warabi gives her stamp. Rin seems to be wearing a different uniform and Mary putting on a new perfume. Trying something. Looks like they've got heaps of rivals now, because every damn girl is fawning over Nomura ever since he looked so cool fighting Kyobo. I guess Rin and Mary are the only ones putting up sour faces. It makes them less cute. Even more disappointing, he did not notice their change. So they're complaining and complaining about him. Yeah, it's sickening to hear them say how they want to correct him. Next morning when they go get him, they are surprised he is waiting for them. Since he notices their difference, I guess it makes them happy and decide to start the correction tomorrow. As they do the usual checking, they find a photo that makes their blood boil. A picture of Nomura and Satomi together in bed. Naked. Scandal. I don't think they want to hear him out even if he doesn't remember this. Better run. They're really going to kill you. Luckily, Warabi and Kyobo hide him. After learning what happened, it is obvious this is a trap by Satomi. She is doing this because if she took him out directly, Rin and Mary won't shut up about it and thus trying to wreck their relationship first. As long as they don't realize this, she can plot all she wants. Nomura thinks he has a way to clear his innocence. There is a bright light censoring his dick, and since he clearly remembers he didn't have a boner then, he could steal the data as proof. But how is he going to sneak into the girls' dorm as security has been upgraded tenfold? If he can't sneak in, he'll let them in. Warabi likes this plan and goes along with it. Nomura allows him to be captured by Rin and Mary. Then they torture him to the max, although his lips are sealed. When they see a hideous scar on his back, they stop. Then Warabi comes to let him out and they head to Satomi's room to look for evidence. They didn't find anything and believes she might be carrying it with her. Right now she is in the bath. Why does Nomura look happy to infiltrate there? Warabi cautions him that Satomi is an odd one. She behaves as though she is a mysterious creature pretending to be human. In the hallway, Sasa and Ui are passing by. Kyobo has to press and hide him against the wall. Remember, Kyobo is female. How does it feel like touching bare tits? Even bears can get stimulated. Almost busting his cover, this time Warabi goes to cover him but her ass is in his face. A little bear diverts their attention for them to escape. That little bear is Domo, Kyobo's offspring. Searching the changing area, Warabi feels something is off when she doesn't see Satomi's sword. Then enters one of Satomi's masked girl underlings, Misogi. She is said to be Satori's right hand. Warabi protects Nomura from being hit by her blow dart. Satomi then comes out of the bath. She has expected Nomura to come but didn't anticipate Warabi to be working with him. Nomura deduces the masked girls had been tailing him for days and that is how they knew about things and dragged Masuko into this. Satomi disagrees because Masuko was helping all along. Nomura now remembers how Satomi and Misogi snuck into his room when he was asleep. After taking those scandalous photos, he wakes up but Satomi slipped a sleeping pill into his mouth via kiss. The data is in her pouch around her neck, so come get it. Meanwhile, Rin and Mary are getting drunk on non-alcoholic beverages, blaming a certain man. How disgraceful. Their sisters can only nod and serve. Warabi fights Misogi but the drug is taking effect and weakening her. She stabs herself to stay focused but she is at her limits. Nomura is forced to fight naked Satomi. It's her plan to distract him. I mean, can you fight with a boner? Nomura is taken by surprise when Satomi attacks are too fast to dodge. He can't tell what she is thinking from those dead fish eyes of hers. Just when he thought he had figured out her fighting school style, she changes it. And again, and again. He realizes she is from a school that takes a technique from separate schools. Though he is correct, Satomi shows how she could chain those different techniques into one combo. Despite he finds it hard to find an opening, there are times when he notices she gets sloppy. Then it hit him. Might as well take this gamble. He strips naked. True enough, she reacts. When a guy shows his dick, girls either focus at it or stare away. Therefore he has rendered her eyes useless. Warabi defeats Misogi using her judo. Once she gets the cure from her, she beats the hell out of her. But she is in for a shock when she unmasks her. Satomi threatens to drop the data in the water. So what is he going to do? He slaps her. If he is going to get expelled, might as well do that with no regrets. She wonders if it is because he got framed, tortured, or future plans ruined. No, it's because he made Rin cry. She is amused by his great reply and finds humans interesting. He says he is human too since the last part she got mad. Yeah, she really does hate you. When Nomura extended his hand to pull Satomi out of the water, she pulled him in as she heard someone coming in. Warabi's musketeers have arrived and they see Warabi and Misogi out cold. Toko thought she could unmask Misogi, but even with her unconsciousness, the grip is still strong. Tsukuyo then comes to clean things up and has the dorm lady, Eva, handle the rest while she goes to settle those in the bath. Satomi hides Nomura, but nothing can escape Tsukuyo's ears. She still plays dumb. There is no one around. Tsukuyo will speak to her outside in the yard as there is someone she doesn't want to hear. Nomura comes out of his hiding as Satomi warns he cannot beat Tsukuyo as he is now and will die if he fights her, because Nomura collapses from the exhaustion of the torture and fighting. Rin cannot sleep because all she can see is Nomura's face. She sneaks out but bumps into Mary. They freak each other out. They probably had the same idea. Excuses, excuses. So they accompany each other to drink but can't leave until the other is gone. It gets worse when their sisters join them. Now they can't leave. They try to outdrink each other but their sisters just want them to quit this silliness. Satomi then comes in to tell them Nomura is resting in the infirmary. How does she know that? Because he attacked her in the bath. Time for them to blow their top again. Meanwhile, Tsukuyo, who has a weak body, has caught a cold for waiting outside and is now being nursed by Eva. Satomi assures Nomura he told Rin and Mary the truth. When Rin comes in looking mad, Nomura fears she told them the twisted truth. But when Rin apologizes, to Nomura's relief that Satomi did actually tell the real truth. Rin feels ashamed after Satori confessed that everything was her ploy. She allows him to do whatever he wants, so he has her close her eyes, getting ready to kiss. Actually, he takes off her mask. What's this? She would rather have him look at her naked body. He wonders why she wears one, so she explains her mom told her she is ugly. Dad cheated on her and left the family. Mom must have seen shades of him in her and told her she was the daughter of a demon and to cover her face when she was around. She felt she could live without shame. By the time she left for school, she was already used to it. So when Nomura told her she was pretty, she was happy to hear it. He gives the mask back to her since she needs to decide herself when she wants to take it off. Above all, he realizes she still loves her mom despite it all, something he will never understand since he is an orphan and never knew his real parents. Some sort obsessed old man took him in and trained him like hell. Can you believe that Rin is crying? Nomura thought it is right. At this point they trade secrets. Now Mary comes in. She also heard everything from Satomi and feels ashamed. She allows him to do anything to her body. Well, she already stripped. Too bad, instantly rejected. When Nomura returns to his room, Masuko asks what he thinks of him. Not in a romantic sense. He must be a terrible person, but Nomura already knew he was the one who drugged his dinner. Can't blame him as he only did it to protect the other guys. He considers that kind of person to be his friend. Masuko did a special service by washing his pillowcase. That's because that is where Nomura keeps his slip and looks like Masuko has got Satori's stamp for him. What's this? Some monster stalking the train is in the bath. Who wants to look at them? When they complain to Nomura, he really isn't interested. Not sure if Rin calling him out to go to school is even worse. When word that Amu has left her room and is missing, Tsukuyo also reports how she heard she is putting on carbohydrates. With that, the principal Yoshino cancels today's class. There seems to be more commotion at school. Warabi and her musketeers are looking for missing Domo. She wants the cub found before Satomi as she knows she'll treat it as a rough toy. On the other hand, Mary is trying to find Choka's wig. Wait, what? So those killer drills are her wig. I knew there was something so unreal about them. Mary and Warabi misinterpret each other's search, and once they realize what the other is looking for, they start arguing theirs is more important. But looks like Nomura has got this case solved. The monster terrorizing the boys' dorm is Domo in that wig. Everyone for the first sees Choka without her wig. OMG, so different, barely recognizable. Warabi is glad that Domo is found but is suspicious with Satomi's lack of movement. They discuss about Misogi and it seems that Satomi and Misogi have the same face. They are sisters in fact as they both meet. Misogi is worried her cover is blown but Satomi the sadist slaps her for being a worrywart. Amu steps into the picture. She is describing Satomi as a monster who finds pleasure by looking down on others. Something about the need to constantly create new enemies and then take them out. She finds her pitiful, empty, a ghost. Warabi spots Amu and Satomi's confrontation and rushes to the scene. The fight is inevitable. Amu is able to detect Satomi's fast draw and hurt her. Misogi tries to help but also gets attacked. Flashback reveals that they actually switched place. I'm so confused. I don't know who is who now. It seems one sister loves looking down on the other. Misogi, despite her face, name and future stolen by Satomi, she still loves her sister. For the first time Satomi shed tears but merciless Amu puts them out of their misery. Warabi arrives too late but she is going to clean the mess up. Too bad not even a combo with Kyobo could defeat her, as though Amu's body is made of steel or something. Meanwhile Nomura sees Tsukuyo. He disregards Masuko's warning she is the strongest and most feared among the 5 swords. He is going to get the last stamp and casually walks up to her. Can you say he deserves it when he didn't see it coming? Tsukuyo's strike at his neck. Nomura is glad he is still alive although for some reason Tsukuyo says he just died. What? I don't understand. Yoshino entrusted Nomura to Tsukuyo and is only given 2 chances of offense. He broke both by breaking into Rin's room and then into Satori's room, the bath. His third is ignoring her summons. Nomura learns that she is actually blind but makes up for her sharp hearing and fast attacking speed that cannot be seen by the naked eye. Nomura can tell that fast draw is from a certain school since he was from that school too. She knows about his spirit bullet from Amu. She thought they were friends because on the first day she transferred, she spoke fondly of him. But she doesn't see them spending any time together since he came here. But yet he quickly became friends with Rin, Mary, Warabi and Satori. Tsukuyo becomes upset since Nomura ignores her to go see what the commotion is on the rooftop. Amu just finished beating up Warabi's musketeers. Warabi cannot bear to see this and wants them spared. In exchange she will allow Amu to kill her. But Amu doesn't think an arrogant soul like her can save anyone and slashes her face. An eerie scream echoes throughout the school grounds. By the time Nomura arrives, he sees defeated bloodied girls lying around. He is surprised Yoshino is standing behind him and he didn't even sense her presence. Her eyesights are still intact but her eyelids are injured and need immediate surgery. She can tend to the fallen but wants Nomura to take care of things happening on the ground below. Amu now goes to face off with Tsukuyo but Rin and Mary intervene. They are going to make her explain what happened but Amu will gladly recreate that scene with their bodies. The duo are so weak that Amu doesn't even fight them seriously. Even in defense mode she defeats them. Rin realizes too late that her entire body is one big weapon, a single blade. Now she turns her attention to their sisters, too scared to run. Tsukuyo steps in. First she asks Nano if she is her friend. Out of fear, she says yes. Tsukuyo's face lights up because it gives her an excuse and reason to fight and protect her friend. Amu dares Tsukuyo to come at her. In a flash, Tsukuyo cuts her in 3 strikes, too fast to see what happened. It did some damage to Amu but Tsukuyo didn't get off scot-free either. She too has taken some damage and her sword broke. Amu has the last laugh because she notices her sword isn't real and is perhaps a toy sword made out of cheap fake metal. Plus, without her sword, she is literally useless as a warrior. Tsukuyo is indeed cornered but she is blaming this on Nomura somehow. Before Amu can go in for the kill, Nomura pushes Tsukuyo away. Then the 2 rivals start screaming each other's name. Flashback when Nomura first faced off with Amu. He managed to use his speed to get up close from behind and touch her. He suggested a truce and Amu was more than happy to have one. They became friends. Apparently that face-off was because Nomura wanted to protect his girly guy friend. As thanks, he wanted to show him around school. Amu tried to hijack that role but Nomura turned her down. Angry, she cut down his friend. No more friends then. Now, Nomura looked like he failed to block from Amu's attack. But luckily his thick manga underneath his shirt saves him once more. Tsukuyo interjects about cutting it. She starts talking like a tsundere, perhaps he wanted to be her friend. He dismisses it and that friends aren't people you ask things of or get particular with. It just happens. Some people you want to be friends with but just didn't turn out that way. Nomura seems to be hesitant if he could defeat Amu. This time Rin and Mary give him words of encouragement to take her out. This makes Tsukuyo wonder if this is what he meant by becoming friends because the girls used to hate him so much. Amu warns to stall fighting her or she may get bored and aim for others. He rushes head in with his speed but Amu is able to fend it all off. Nomura thinks he is dead meat when he makes a fatal move. He is saved when Tsukuyo's voice guided him over to her side. She then lectures his hesitation which led to his half-hearted moves. I don't think he needs this lecture now. She hints that Amu has already told him that something will work against her. Nomura takes it as a move that will dig his own grate. But he is going to take it as he has too many great things in this school going for him. Amu becomes sad that he is on their side. All she wanted was him. She viewed the world as gray and bland. Everything wasn't enough for her so she only cut out parts with vivid color for herself. But Nomura was bright and colored everything she had already taken into her control. She wanted him, but he may have dyed her in his color. When did she lose sight of that? If only things could go back the way it is. No, it can't. In that case, she'll kill him. Flashback shows after Mary submitted to Nomura, Amu saw it and her heart started aching. She messed up her room, and in short we can tell she is jealous for him. Knowing she is the same as him and will not submit, she decided if he cannot have him, she will kill him. This is worse than being a yandere. Back to the fight, Nomura bares his top so when Amu attacks it, it allows him to go up to touching distance and blow her away. Of course that isn't enough to put her down. They start beating each other up with their fists and Amu seems to feel nostalgic of this pain. It makes her forget that burning desire in her heart. I suppose this doesn't make her a masochist. Well, they both look happy trading blows. Nomura supposedly lost, but Amu catches him. She realizes he fights not to win but to show where he stands, because the victor is already decided. Go ahead, give it your best shot. This is his last chance. Be hers. Nope. With that, Nomura finishes her off. But right after that ended, Tsukuyo no draws her broken blade at him. It's time to finish their fight. She realizes they cannot be friends. She is disappointed in the way he fights, his balance and stance. In short, she wants him to be her student. In exchange she can give her a stamp. It is a great deal to him, but knowing Nomura, he is very well going to decline. Before he can say that, those masked girls are going to take down unconscious Amu. They are quickly defeated by Yoshino as she dismisses everyone back to class. In the aftermath, Nomura is to be expelled from school. Nomura seems cool with it. He then visits Warabi and Satori recuperating in the infirmary one last time. Rin and Mary tries to convince Yoshino about the circumstances, but his expulsion cannot be reversed. Outside he is surprised Tsukuyo is waiting for him. Nomura didn't like she accepted him as her student when he didn't give a reply. He finds out Amu has been expelled and making her way overseas now. He wants to go to her and doesn't care about the rules since he is going to be expelled, but is reminded he is still a student of this school until all the paperwork is done. So Amu somehow got it all done. So Nomura is forced to be her student to get the last stamp to rush down to the airport to catch Amu and have a last talk with each other. She tells him to continue being himself and do what he wishes. She remembers she forgot to say something to him during their fight. She walks up to him and kisses him. She wants him to relay the misinformation to the 5 swords that he is hers. Since when was he hers? The moment they met, he has always been hers deep within her heart. Nomura returns as Rin and Mary wait to get him. They explain that Yoshino was just joking about the expulsion. Yeah, he can still stay. In exchange, Rin and Mary must tightly hold on to his reins, so they gladly ask him to coexist or leave. Neither. Everyone else is waiting at the gates and welcoming back. Nomura is glad to be back. This is the end of the video, so please watching all of my anime recap series. Thanks for watching.